Okay, hello. So this is just a quick tutorial to basically show how to get better graphics in Solidworks. So this is a assembly from one of the CSWA exams. So as you can see, if any of you have basically, this is a tutorial for if you've just opened SolidWorks on a personal computer. Maybe the way, my situation is I've got it from my university, I've installed it on my personal computer, and I was very confused as to why, when I've got a body like this and I want to change it to something like, plain carbon steel, which should be nice and shiny, or, something like copper, it's 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 not really reflective, both in property and of the actual material itself. So the aim of this tutorial is to show you how to add this to your SolidWorks parts and assemblies, which obviously makes it a lot more fun to design when you can actually see what the material you're designing in looks like. And if you're showing off an assembly during a project, or just to showing off a part, then it's obviously a lot more looks a lot better. And yeah, so as you can see, what we're turning on here, it's called Realview graphics. So you might have this button in SolidWorks and you might be able to toggle it, but for you it will show basically nothing happening. There's no change or very little change, and it does not come out with these results. What's actually happening is Realview graphics is just kind of a thing within SolidWorks, and the way to get it working is you need a graphics card that that SolidWorks basically agrees with. A graphics card that SolidWorks has said, yep, that one's permitted to use Realview graphics. So one thing, this isn't true. It's as simple as just changing a few things around in the registry, which is something that I now need to come on and say. If you're not comfortable with changing things around in registry, then you might want to be a bit careful. Obviously, you can mess things up if you do the wrong thing in the registry, but as long as you follow this tutorial closely and carefully and don't click anywhere you shouldn't, then you should be okay. The second thing is, I'm not sure if this basically breaks any licensing agreements with SolidWorks. I can imagine it probably does. As I assume they want you to buy their nice, fancy, expensive Quadro cards to actually use this feature. I'm not going to worry too much about that, because it makes modelling a lot easier and it helps show off SolidWorks better. So if you're not okay on the legal implications side of this, then that's another factor. But I'm basically going to now get into how to do this. So the way I've done it every time is followed one of these tutorials. They're sometimes quite hard to find, but there seems to be two more than there were when I first did it. So if you know what you're doing with registry, with computers, then these guides, probably this one I would say is the best one. I'll leave the links in the description to them. So if you just want to go and follow these and you think you know what you're doing, then that's fine. But if you're a bit worried, or you still want it but you want a bit more of a handhold experience, then that's what I aim to do for you today. So first thing first is we're going to open up the registry editor. Actually, step 0 I guess is to close SolidWorks if you have it open, as we are making changes to SolidWorks, to the registry. So if it is open, that will I think it can affect things, so it's better just to keep it closed and make sure that's not a factor that messes things up. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do run. Just obviously type that into start menu, and then you want to do reg edit and hit enter. It will ask you to basically press OK as an admin sort of command, and what you will be presented with is this screen here. So what we're going to do is, if I can resize this a bit, is we're going to follow the tutorial basically. It's quite easy. So navigate to H key current user, so that's this one. Then we want to go down to software. So as you can see, I've already done this before, so it's kind of kept that, but yeah, so just in software, under current users, it's going to list all the apps you have installed, and possibly games if you can see any. But next is to go down and find SolidWorks. Then you want to open up SolidWorks. Obviously it says SolidWorks 2015 here. That basically means whatever SolidWorks version you have, click SolidWorks, then whatever year. This should open a very long list. It wants then performance, so you scroll down to performance, sort of halfway down this list. And let me actually just close these to make it easier for you to follow. So once you are into performance, the only thing in performance actually is just graphics, as it says. So you open graphics, then you open hardware, and then you're almost there. So the next thing you want to open, and the final thing, is I think it's GI2 shaders. So you open that, and that is where you want to stop. So what this is this is actually basically a list of what the graphic card code names are that will enable the use of Realview graphics. So if we look in here, you can see things like Quadros, as I mentioned. If you Google any of these, then you should see some astronomical price tags with quite a few of these, especially, you know, the recent ones like the RTX 8000 and the Teslas, obviously. But basically, the reason that the Realview graphics will not work on your computer is simply because there is not a folder with your graphics card here. So that is what we aim to fix. So as you can see, sort of sticking out here is this one, which is a GTX 980 Ti. This is obviously a consumer graphics card. You might, any of you who actually know computers might know that this is quite quite an old one, but yeah, it should be okay. And just to prove that it's okay, I'm actually just going to quickly show that these are some pictures of me editing the registry on my laptop, which doesn't even have an NVIDIA graphics card. It actually has a an AMD APU, so the graphics are inbuilt to the CPU. So this will work for quite a few different scenarios. So as you can see there, I was in NV400 in here, which is the NVIDIA side of things. There's obviously the NV seems to be NVIDIA. Well, that's where that comes from. And then the R420, for example, is where this one worked. That is for Radeon, so that is obviously AMD's side of graphics. So following on from this tutorial, once we actually have this directory found, you want to go into current. So current basically just tells you some information on what you're currently using to render SolidWorks. So as you can see, mine, obviously the same computers I've done here. So this is a 980 Ti. You might see something like, you know, what was it, Radeon Vega 8 graphics. You might see something like Intel integrated. You might see, I don't know, if you got a new one like a RTX 3080. Doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to come here to renderer. You want to copy this value data here. Click OK, back out of it. Then what you want to do is you want to come into NV40. You want to do new, key, and you want to paste the name of your graphics card or whatever it's given you into there. Now I'm just going to change this just so it's actually a bit different, and I can show you guys what, but 970 is just a different graphics card that I've had used in the past. So what we want to do now is, once we've got that in here, you can see that we've got default. So if we just check over to the tutorial, then we can see that the right side should be empty, apart from an entry called default. So yep, that's what we've got. So the next thing to do, as it says here, is to do a new dword 32-bit value. So not exactly sure what this is, but it's basically saying I want to insert a value here, and this value is going to either let SolidWorks go, yep, that's the right value, or it's not the right value. So first thing is to come in here and change it to be called workarounds, and click out. So you should now have default and workarounds. The next thing to do is double click workarounds, and you want to keep this in hexadecimal. And this is where it gets a bit kind of guessworky. Obviously SolidWorks has not put out an official tutorial or any official information on this apart from buy a Quadro graphics card. So now we are basically left to enter in the value that we hope will work. Now obviously if this was entering values, you'd be here forever, but we do have a few values where we think we might have, we found some values that work. and it's just a bit of luck if yours works with the right number or not. So as you can see here, one of these is 30,008. So you'd put that value in, you press OK, and as you can see there, it has set that in hexadecimal, which is obviously a different number in binary. But what you would then do is, as it says, start SolidWorks. Obviously this isn't going to work for me because I've already had it. But say you did start SolidWorks up, you would go and try and see if that Realview button works. If it doesn't work, one thing you might want to check: have you actually applied a material? I know that was something that caught me out. Is I was seeing, oh, it doesn't work. Oh wait, I made a stupid mistake and didn't just check. Did I actually apply something like plain carbon steel that's easy to see if it's actually changed something? So once you've gone to SolidWorks, it's either going to work, and great, you're done. You've got some nice shiny textures. But if it doesn't work, what you want to do is you want to come back to this registry editor, go back into workarounds and change a value to 30,408 and hit OK, and hopefully that will work. And then basically close down SolidWorks, open it again, try it again. If it doesn't work, as the tutorial says, freak out because we can't help you, because basically what happens is, if it's a new graphics card and SolidWorks have sort of caught onto this and they've changed it so that it has to be a completely different value, say it's like 23,430, we don't know it's that value. I assume, I don't know how anyone actually found this out, but I mean, I guess maybe you could look into the existing ones and see if any of these numbers worked. I assume that's maybe how they found out. So if you're really stuck far in the future because of this, and you've got a graphics card that isn't, it's not a 970, it's not even, a 1060 or something where these people have been using it. So I think this person had, there you go, 1070. So this guy has a very similar thing where he's got 30,408 or 30,008. But if they ever do change that, then something you might be able to do is look at these later graphics cards. So if you're looking at the equivalent and you know a bit more about computers, then this would be somewhere around a RTX 3080 or 3090 possibly. So if you're lucky enough to have one of those cards, then this method doesn't work with these values, then maybe just copying this number here and trying that and doing a bit of trial and error, that might give you some results as well. So it's a hack that's it's not guaranteed to work, especially going far on in the future, but that has worked for me, as you've seen it. I'm just going to delete this one because obviously I do not have a 970. But yeah, as you can see, mine one did work here, and I do believe, so even for this, even for my laptop's integrated graphics, even 30,008 worked. So it should remain pretty standard. If this doesn't work, anyone from Kingston, feel free to email me. You should know my email address, as it's on my profile on Microsoft Stream. So feel free to email me and I will help you as best I can. But if you've done everything in this list correctly, everything in this tutorial correctly, and tried these tutorials by yourself, there might be nothing I can really help you with, but it's worth a try. So hopefully that will help you get some cooler graphics in SolidWorks, and should help your assemblies and parts look a lot cooler. If it's been something that you've been wondering, then hopefully that would solve it as well, as it took me quite a while to work out why can't I have nice shiny textures. So hope that helps, and thanks.